Hey, how you doing? Tony here from LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. Thank you for watching this quick video. We're going to be talking about the amount of paint that you need for a complete auto body and paint job. And we're going to be talking about base coat and clear coat paint, all right? The amounts that you need. Now, if you want to learn more about auto body, feel free to check out LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com after or while watching this video or whatever. We're also giving away a free 85-page auto body and paint manual just to let you know. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about base coat paint. Okay, now we're talking about 2K paint jobs, two-stage paint jobs, another word for it, where you're laying your base coat, which is your color, and then you are laying your clear coat on it. And there's also something called three-stage paint jobs, where you lay your base coat and then you lay your mid coat, which is like a pearl or a flake coat. You know, that's going to take a little bit longer. Of course, you're going to have to consider that paint as well in the mid coat. But here we're just talking about basic base coat application and then a clear coat on top of it. Okay, if we're doing something custom, it's going to be a little different because you're going to need an extra layer of paint in between, right? Extra layer of base coat in between your initial base coat and your clear coat. Sorry, excuse me for that. All right, so we're talking about a complete paint job, non-color change. Okay, considering that you have about 25% bodywork and primer spots across all of your body panels. So maybe you did some damage repair, you repaired part of your fender, or you have some primer spots on part of your hood, some of your door, maybe a bumper cover is kind of primered up. All right, so we're figuring 25-30% of primer across your body panels, and you're painting the car the same color. Okay, take a look at this beat up VW that I found in Mexico while I was hanging out in Mexico for a couple of months. It was just so funny, I just had to take a picture of that thing. Anyway, complete paint job, non-color change. Sorry guys. Okay, so when painting the same color, okay, this is same color, so you have a red car and you're going to be putting a red base coat on top of it, fresh paint on top of the whole car. Okay, non-color change. You don't need a lot of paint. Okay, keep in mind base coat material volume will double when mixed. All right, so a complete medium-sized sedan like a Toyota Camry with 25% primer covered, okay, so you got 25% body work done on it, you got some primer spots, okay, you're going to need about 2 quarts of base coat when you buy it from your paint shop. Okay, so you're going to basically go there, you could take your car there, they'll match it up on your gas cap, they'll get the machine, put it on a corner of your car, match the color, or you could just give them the color code. Whatever, it depends how you want to do it. Usually the more accurate way is for them to get the machine, they put the scanner on the paint, get the color code, and then they'll make you however much base you need. Okay, so I would say you're going to need about 2 quarts of base coat, and when you mix it, it's going to give you about a gallon of sprayable material. Okay, and you should have a little bit of leftover. Okay, this is only doing the outside of the car. You're not touching the door jambs, because if you're spraying the same color 90% of the time you're not touching the door jambs, you're just masking up your door jambs. Okay, now overall, when doing a full respray same color, you'll never need a gallon of base coat. Okay, overall, if you're going to be painting a car the same color, that's like overkill, because you're going to have 2 gallons of sprayable material. So for example, if you're respraying a Miata the same color, you're pretty much only going to need a quart of base coat to stretch across the whole car, right? And get it the same color, okay? Because that's going to give you a half a gallon of sprayable, okay? If you want to be on the safe side, I would say get a quart and a half, okay? There's nothing wrong with getting a quart and a half of base coat. That'll give you 3/4 of a gallon sprayable, okay? You'll have 3 full quarts of sprayable base coat. Now, if you're working on a larger Ford F-150 quad cab, all right, and you're doing a full non-color respray, you're going to need about 3 quarts of base coat, okay? And again, you're considering you have 25% primer coverage, okay? And I'm going to give you some tips on that as well. So that'll give you a gallon and a half of sprayable material for that huge truck, and you will have some leftover. And you always want to plan to have some leftover, because base coat will not go bad. All right. You could just put a lid on it, put it back in your can, and then just mix it up later on. If the reducer kind of evaporated, all you do is add a little bit of reducer, check your consistency, and this is things that we cover in Learn Auto Body and Paint VIP as well. In the VIP course, if you want to check that out, we show you how to mix paints, how to mix paints that you stored for a while, the best mixing ratios, how to mix paints without even measuring it, just by looking at the consistency. Okay, we show you all that stuff as well. So let's get into the same thing here. Complete paint job, non-color change. I'm going to give you a base coat spray technique. Okay, so what you want to do is when your car is ready for paint, okay, you want to make sure you spray all of your primered areas first, get it covered. So I got some guide coat on this quarter panel here, but just imagine that it was primed up, okay, and we're painting orange across the whole truck, right? I'd want to go around the whole vehicle spraying the primered spots first to get it orange. Okay, so you'd go around, and you wouldn't spray it heavy. You'd put a light coat on it, go around to the other area where you have damage, cover it again, go around the whole car, get all of the 25% of primer work and body work covered with orange. Okay, you'd give it 15-minute flash time, you'd do it again, get it orange, okay, until it's pretty much the same color as the rest of the car. Okay, then you would proceed to spray go around the whole car about 2 times. Okay, I'm putting 3 for extra here, but usually you just go around the car with 2 full sprays, all right, of your base coat, and then you're pretty much done. So those first 1 to 2 passes around all those bodywork areas, the primer areas, getting them orange or whatever color you're working on, will get it one tone, okay, the same even color. And then once you go around the car on a full respray, starting, and there's a way to go around the car as well. You usually want to start from the top roof, you go across to the passenger side, you connect, you come down to the driver's side door, and then you just walk your way around the car. And I show you how to paint the car as well, the correct way to go around the car when you're spraying. And then each time you go around, that would basically be 1 pass. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Once you see that the car is fully covered evenly, you can proceed spraying your clear coat. Okay, now lighting is going to be very, very important when spraying your base coat. You need to make sure your primered areas, okay, that you covered your primer areas before spraying clear coat. If you're thin on base coat in your primed areas and spray clear over it, there's no turning back. You basically need to do the job over. Okay, you got to wait till that to cure, dry, and then you're going to have to sand your clear coat down with 400 grit, get it flat again, and then rebase the panel and re-clear it because you were just light on it. You don't have enough paint covering your prime spots. So another thing you could do is you can get help with lighting from GunBud. All right, and Atom X spray guns, they partnered with GunBud. And when you invest in any Atom X spray gun, you get a free GunBud Ultra lighting system. You can also just get the GunBud lighting system on eBay, Amazon, or at Zula.com for the best deals. It allows you to spray in total darkness, which I've used the product and I love the product. They gave me a box of them to give away to my subscribers, and I gave them all away. And I actually bought a bunch of them to give away to my VIP guys as well. And we've been giving them away on our YouTube calls. So definitely check out GunBud. It's a universal spray gun lighting system. It'll fit on any kind of gun, but just remember, if you buy an Atom X27 or X20 or whatever spray gun version you want, they automatically give you a free GunBud, and that's really cool. And I love Atom spray guns. Those are the only guns I use right now for all of my paint projects. I recommend them to my friends, my family, my painter buddies. We all use Atom spray guns. They're really, really great. So, it'll allow you to blend metallics, pearls, and flake better. And you can also spray in low light areas like door jambs, trunks, under vehicles, and in between, the cab and the bed of a truck. If you're getting in there, sometimes it's you don't have good lighting, and with the lighting right on the gun, it really lights things up, and you could really see really, really well. It's pretty amazing. It's a really good product. So definitely check that out. So let's talk about clear coat. All right, listen very carefully. Let's talk about a complete paint job clear coat, okay? Normally when doing a full respray, you'd want to make sure that you have at least a 1-gallon kit of clear coat. Now, clear coat pricings range from anywhere for a complete kit anywhere from $100 for the cheap stuff, all the way up to $350 for a 1-gallon kit. And $350, I'm talking about like a House of Color, US. Now, what's the number of that clear? USC. I forgot the number. I'm sorry, but I normally use House of Color for all my custom jobs, and it's about $330 for a kit of clear coat. Okay, and usually, I mean, 90% of the time that's going to be enough for any large car or truck or van. Okay, a 1-gallon clear coat kit. Okay, so again, how much should you have for a full respray? Get a gallon, because it's always better to have a little extra, a little more than not enough, especially when you're in the middle of painting. Okay, how much will you use? Okay, you're going to use anywhere from 3 to 4 quarts of sprayable clear coat. Okay, and actually it's going to be a little bit more than that. I made a mistake. Okay, you're going to use anywhere from 3 to 6 quarts of sprayable clear coat. Okay, when I say sprayable, it's mixed. Okay, so just for an example, a 1-gallon kit mixed will give you about 5 to 6 quarts of sprayable on average. Okay, 1-gallon kit will give you an average of 5 to 6 quarts of sprayable, and this gets into mixing ratios, and we're going to talk about that next. So another tip is never mix all of your clear coat at once. You may not need it. Okay, usually you're going to have a little bit of leftover, so don't mix all of it. I usually like to mix a half a gallon. Right, so if I'm mixing, so here, let's get into the mixing ratios quickly here. So depending on the kind of clear coat you get, you're going to get different mixing ratios. So you'll commonly see 4-to-1, which is 4 parts clear and 1 part hardener. So if you mixed up the whole gallon of clear, which is 4 quarts, 4 parts, you're going to add 1 part of hardener. You're going to add 1 quart of hardener. So that kit will give you 5 quarts of sprayable clear coat. Okay, 5 quarts total. You're going to see 2-to-1. Okay, and again, this all depends on what clears you end up getting, what your budget is, high solids, low solids, it all depends. This is a whole nother slideshow and video on its own, which we could do in the future. Let me know, comment below if you like these videos. We could do something like that next. So 2-to-1 is basically 2 parts clear and 1 part hardener. So if you get a gallon kit, you're going to get a gallon and 2 quarts of hardener. Okay, so if you mix a half a gallon, that's 2 parts, right? Then you're going to put 1 part, which is your 1 quart of hardener. So you're going to have 2 quarts of clear and 1 part of hardener, which is going to give you 3 quarts of sprayable material if you mixed half of what you got there. Okay, another common one is 2-1-1. So you basically got 2 parts clear. So say you put 2 quarts of clear in, you're going to be putting a quart of hardener and then another quart of reducer. That's going to be your mixture. Okay, so basically that'll give you 2 clear, 2 basically, if you mixed up quart-wise, right, you're going to end up with 4 quarts of sprayable material with this mixture. Okay. Now let's get into a tip here, a quick tip, reducer and hardener info. Now, when getting reducers and hardeners for your paints, you're going to have options to choose from. You're going to be able to get fast hardener or reducer. Now when it comes to reducers, I actually didn't put that in the slide here, so listen carefully. When it comes to base coat reducers, I usually always like to just get medium. It's just a good place to be. Even if you're painting in 70 degrees, 80, 90 degrees, medium is usually where you want to be. You could get slow, but I never use fast reducers for base coat because it dries fast anyway. Even if you're using a medium or slow in hot temperatures, it dries pretty quickly. So I never use fast reducer in base coat. Okay, but we're talking about clear coat here. So when getting reducers for your base coat, and again, I said I missed this in the slides before. I didn't talk about this until now. I just remembered. But usually you want to get medium or slow reducer for your base coat. If you're painting in very, very hot temperatures, you'd probably go for a a slow reducer for your base coat, and this is like painting in 90 degrees and up. So if you're painting in 90, 95 degrees, you'd want to get a slow reducer. If you're painting anywhere from 72 to 88 degrees, a medium reducer will be fine. Okay. So a fast hardener activator for clear coat is good for using, single fenders, touch-up jobs, okay? A bumper cover maybe, you want to get in and out, a door, small blend jobs, okay? You don't really want to get into multiple panels, and you don't want to do more than one panel with a fast reducer, okay? You could do 2 panels maybe if it's colder out, maybe 70 degrees and you want to use a fast hardener for 2 panels, like a door and a fender, you can get away with it. But fast reducers are more for, single panel paint jobs. So medium, you can use, now we're talking about medium activators and hardener for clear coat, right? You can use for complete paint jobs anywhere from 70 to 88 degrees, okay? Slow temperature hardeners and reducers you can use for complete paint jobs in hotter temperatures, 90 plus, when you need more time for flow out, okay? So you're basically giving yourself, by having a slow activator, you're giving yourself more time for the clear coat to flow out and not to dry, okay? Because if it dries too quickly, it's going to dry orange peely, you're going to get a texture, and it's not going to flow out, you're not going to get the gloss, okay? Hopefully you're liking this. We're only a few slides away. So this is important content. You might want to rewind and re-listen to some of these sections here. But let's just talk about complete paint job color change, base coat, complete paint job color change, base coat amount needed. Okay, hopefully, is this slide even correct? Hold on, guys. Okay, so when completely changing the color, you need to consider if you're also painting the door, hood, and trunk jambs. Okay, so before we were talking about non-color change. Okay, in the beginning we were talking about complete paint jobs, non-color change. Okay, not changing the color of the car. Now we're talking about, excuse me guys, now we're talking about completely changing the color. And let me get to the slide here. Okay, complete color change. So let's get back to it here. When completely changing the color, you need to consider if you're also painting the door, hood, and trunk jambs, because you're going to need more paint. And normally when you're changing the color, you're going to want to change the color of your door jambs, right? You're not just doing just the outside changing the color, right? If you're going to do the correct way to do it, I mean, I've known people who just sprayed the outside complete color change. I've done it many times as well, based on customer requests, like a black car. They just said, keep the door jambs black, but I want the car to be white. You know what I mean? I don't want the car to be black anymore. It's too hot. I want to make the outside black, but don't worry about the door jambs. I don't want to spend the extra $500 or $600 for the door jambs. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about here. So consider if you're going to be doing door jambs or not, number one. Keep in mind again, base coat material will double when mixed. Now, if you're doing a complete medium-sized sedan Toyota Camry car with up to 80% primer covered. Now say you have more primer covered on this thing, you need more materials, right? You're pretty much going to need about, and this is a medium-sized Toyota Camry, complete color change, and this is pretty much without doing your door jambs, okay? I would get about 3 quarts of base coat to be safe. This is going to give you about 1.5 gallons of sprayable material. And this should be enough for the whole thing to color change. And I would even think 1.5 gallons, you'll even have enough to do your door jambs. It might be getting tight if you're getting into the trunk and hood jambs. Okay, if you're going to be painting underneath your trunk, because that's going to take a little bit of extra paint there, and stuff like that. So just consider that. This is an average. It's best to, if you're doing a complete color change, it's best to get 1 gallon on a medium size car, okay, to a large car. This way you'll have more than enough base coat. If you're working on a smaller car like a Miata or a 2-door Sportster SLK Mercedes, or a little BMW or something, 3/4 of base coat should be enough for a complete color change. Okay, and another thing you could do to save yourself money is you can spray if you have leftover base coat and you're changing a car from white to red and you have maybe a quart or two of red base coat left over from another job, you can use that red base coat just to get it covered a little bit to help you out, and then use the final color that you want to continue over it. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind as well. Again, a small Miata or something, you can use 2 to 3 quarts of base, will give you 1 to 1.5 gallons of sprayable. Large Ford F-150 or a family van, you'd want to get a 1 gallon of base coat, which is going to give you 2 gallons of sprayable. This should be sufficient for a large project like that, but if you want to play it a little bit more safe, get an extra quart of base coat. So if you're doing something really large like a Ford F-150 or a van again, maybe get a gallon and a quart. So this way you have 2.5 gallons of sprayable material. All right, you're gonna run through it, and it's good to have an extra quart laying around in case you need it, in case you need a touch up, later on down the line. In case, if it's a customer job, you hold on to the paint. They might come back in 8 months saying, "Hey, I banged up my bumper." Boom, you got the paint. You know what I mean? If it's your own car, maybe you screwed up buffing. Maybe you were buffing the panel out and you burned paint and you need to paint the hood over. You got extra paint. So it's always good to have extra paint. Base coat never goes bad. Whatever you don't use with your base coat, just put back in the can, seal it up. You can always remix it and spray it again. Okay, with the clear coat, I usually mix half of my clear coat when doing a full respray. So I'll use a half a gallon of clear. Okay, I'll put in a quart of my hardener and maybe 10% reducer, depending on what product you're using. And then if I need more, I usually mix up an extra quart. But usually clear coat, full respray outside, you're gonna probably use about a gallon or a little less than a gallon of mixed material. Okay. So let's just talk about primer and sealer talk. This is just some common questions. Does the car need to be primed one color, okay, when doing a complete color change? The answer is no. Okay, it doesn't have to be primed one color, although if you do have a lot of body work and you just want to get the car, primed up and sealed one color, then it's not going to hurt, okay? But the car doesn't need to be primed one color if you're painting a car, period. Color change or same color, okay? Here's another question. Can I paint black base coat over my red car without primer? So say you had, the red car in back of me, right? The BMW. And we had 25% bodywork spots with prime spots all over. And you wanted to just completely color change it. So what I would do is just clear coat, a good clear coat paint job, especially on any car, year 2000 and above that has base coat clear coat, the clear coat's in good condition. As long as it's clean and the clear coat is sanded down with a 400 grit sandpaper, 400 to 600 grit. And I say 400 to 600 grit because as you use your 400 grit over time, over a hood, over the fender, and you're going around the car, it actually wears down to a 500-600 grit. So when I tell people to finish off with 400 grit, I'm using a 400 grit, but it's a little worn down, so it could be 500 or 600. You know what I mean? That's the grit range you want to be in. You want to finish off if you're going to finish off with a 600 grit wet sanding or dry sand, you want to make sure it's pretty much like a new 600 grit, okay? Because any finer, you don't have your paint is not scuffed up and scratched up enough with enough tooth marks in it for your new paint to stick. Okay, you need some grooves, some scratches for your new paint to stick. Okay, so back to, can I paint black base coat over my red car? As long as your clear coat is sanded with 400 grit, it's looking nice and matte colored. And again, I show you all of this in my VIP videos step by step while talking to you like this and going over every little detail to make sure you bang out an awesome paint job. I would literally base coat all of the primer spots first, get them black, and then go around the car just right over the red. Okay, you could even do white base coat over red. It's just you have to make sure that you're covering. As long as you're covered during your base coat, okay, and you don't see any bleed marks, you'll be fine, okay, and you shouldn't have any problem. Somebody says, can I paint over sanded clear coat? We just talked about that. Yes, you can, and we show you tons of demos over this within Learn Auto Body and Paint VIP as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. It kind of rambled on a little longer than I wanted. I wanted to keep it at like 10 to 15 minutes, but God. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. I'm open to making more types of videos like this. If you're here till the end, it means that you were really interested and you really enjoyed the video. Let me know if you like it. So I really appreciate that. So again, comment down below, send me a note, at tony@learnautobodyandpaint.com. We have a support team here waiting to help you. We have tons of training on auto body if you want to learn how to do this. Definitely check out learnautobodyandpaint.com. I've been teaching DIYers and novice professionals, learn how to do auto body and paint from home, to bang out their own projects, to bang out customer jobs. We've had many, tons of people open up their own body shops, start making money, customizing their own projects after going through our programs. We had, high schools in Texas using our curriculum to teach their kids a vocational skill set. In New York, we had penitentiaries in New York using our program. Unfortunately, with all the things going down now with the COVID, schools are shut down and a lot of crazy things are happening. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out learnautobodyandpaint.com to get more information. Download the free 85-page guide and check out the special offer I have for you for VIP. Again, thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Share it with anybody that you think may enjoy these types of videos and content. We also have more content coming out, different type of stuff, family vlogs, and also information on online businesses and how to build online businesses and whatnot. It's another one of my passions. I've been doing this since way back in 2009, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.